Hello! Are you hiring for your small business? Because if so, today I'm going to tell you how you can stop sorting through all the resumes and find that perfect candidate. Alright, so guys, my name is Christina. I'm the founder of Disrupt Ordinary and the Finally Visible Academy. And I know firsthand how annoying hiring can be for your company. It is a problem that a ton of small business owners face throughout the world. Because when it comes to hiring, we have a very specific person in mind, right? We need something very specific for our company. A certain set of skills, a certain income that we want to pay them, a certain atmosphere that we have in our company that they have to be able to adapt to, and so on, right? So when it comes to finding that perfect candidate, having to sort through a million different resumes, have a million different interviews, have to train a bunch of people, and then possibly having those people even leave after you've trained them because either they're not the right fit or you have to let them go or whatever it is, can be frustrating, right? So let's talk about how we can make it a little bit easier. So first off, let me tell you how I used to do it, okay? So when I first started my company, I was looking for a bunch of different employees, right? Between writers, assistants, project manager, different stuff like that. So when I was hiring, it used to look something like this. I would go on Indeed, I would post a job posting, I would get hundreds of applications back, right? I would sit there and I would go through every single application. And then every time I found a good application, I would call that person. And a lot of times they wouldn't answer the phone, so I would leave them a voicemail. They would have to call me back. I would have to manage the whole scheduling of all the interviews manually. People were coming in at different times, and it got super confusing and very, very overwhelming because you're looking to hire help in order to make things easier for you, right? So when it turns into its own full-time job, just hiring people, it's so frustrating. So let me tell you what it looks like now. If I have to hire someone, I literally get 3 to 5 candidates that basically, in an automated way, set their own phone interview with me. And I look at my calendar and I just have to go and attend those 3 to 5 phone interviews and pick the best one. All right. So let me tell you about how I do this and how you can implement something like this in your own business. Now, first off, it depends on the type of employee that you're looking for. So are you looking for a employee, like a full-time employee that's going to have a salary and take on a major position? Or are you looking for more of a freelancer that's going to maybe do project by project work or, work on a very small part-time basis, right? Because that's going to depend on which platform I would recommend that you use. All right, so if you do want to hire an employee, what I would recommend that you use is Indeed. So there's a bunch of different platforms out there, and some of them might be useful as well, but I've found a lot of good results with the Indeed platform, okay? So in order to get these candidates, these perfect candidates, without spending a ton of time, I normally follow these kind of steps and tips and tricks. So let me tell you. The first thing that I would recommend that you do is make use of the questions that Indeed allows you to put within the application process, okay? So what a lot of people do is they just throw up a simple ad on Indeed and they just let all of the people come flooding in. Whereas what I'm recommending that you do is, first off, create a good ad, right? You want to create an ad that's going to actually represent your company, right? Talk about the great things about being a part of your company, why they want to work with your company, right? Because you have to remember that you're selling them too, right? The perfect candidate is somebody who wants to work with you, but also has, their own things going on in their life and their own ambitions. So make sure that you have a good ad. And then you're going to make use of the questions. So Indeed lets you have it so that any applicants that fill out an application have to answer a series of questions that you come up with. So what I recommend that you do is put questions into there that are the most important for you. So for example, if income is a very important thing for you, you could put a question like, what type of income are you expecting from this position? And have them choose, I'm expecting this much and this much, or I'm expecting between this much and this much, or whatever it is, right? So I would recommend that you make it a multiple choice question with ranges rather than just letting them free type in something. And I'll explain why in a minute. Now, other than income, maybe you want to do something like experience level, right? Again, I would recommend that you do multiple choice questions. You could say like less than a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, whatever it is. Or maybe you want to do something like, what do you have experience with? Like say they need experience with different softwares that you utilize or something like that, and they can check off what they do or do not have experience with. So those are just some examples. You can change that to kind of fit your needs and what you're looking for, particularly in your business. Now, here comes the brilliant part about it, right? Once you do that and you launch the ad with the questions in it, you're going to get responses back, okay? So if it's a good ad, you're probably gonna get a lot of responses back. Let's say you get 300 responses back, right? What you can now do once you have these responses is you can export that list of people into like an Excel spreadsheet, right? And then you can see the different questions that you asked them. And you can filter that Excel spreadsheet by those questions. So let's say I asked them, how many years of experience do you have? And I gave them the multiple choice answers, less than a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, right? And I wanted somebody who had 1 to 3 years of experience. I can now go and I can sort that Excel spreadsheet by those answers. So I can make it so that I only see the people who answered that they have 1 to 3 years of experience. And guys, this cuts down so much time because you're pre-qualifying people, right? If you have things that really matter to you, this is the best way to do it because now in a totally automated way, you're eliminating anyone who doesn't meet the criteria that you're looking for, okay? So I would highly recommend that you utilize these questions and really kind of make use of them. Do as many as you think you need and then get them filtered. All right, guys, now after you have filtered through your people on your list, if you're left with only a couple of people, great. You can just reach out to those people and they should be the best candidates for the job. If, however, you're still left with, say, a list of 50 people and you don't want to have 50 different interviews, the next thing I would recommend is to make an automated email sequence. So this is something that we utilize within my company often, and it's really, really effective. So basically what we would do is we would take that list of 50 people, right? And in the interview, in the application process, we ask them for their email address. So we would just take that list of people and we would import it into our email marketing platform, right? And then we would send them all an email automatically. So I mean, this takes 10 minutes maybe to set up. And the email would say, hey, we think that you might be a great person to join our company. We would like to schedule a phone interview with you. In order to do that, please go ahead and click here, okay? So this is kind of the magic part, right? They would go ahead, they would click on click here, and it would bring them to a page with our automated calendar scheduler. So what this is it's hooked up to my calendar so that any appointments that I have feed into it, and it basically shows all of my availability for the week, right? So they can go in, they can see whenever I have available time slots open, they can pick the time that works best for them, and they could book the appointment, all right? And guys, you can even, if you wanted to like further qualify them, you can ask like more questions in this step or different things like that. But what happens between this step is you find the people that are still interested in the position, right? So a big problem with hiring platforms is that sometimes you have all these candidates that are great and they apply for a job and then maybe they already got a job or they're no longer looking, right? So you're calling all of these people and they no longer have an interest in working for you. So it's a waste of time, right? Whereas with adding this step, they're only going to click here and book an appointment if they still are interested in working with you, right? So you go ahead, you do this, you have all the appointments booked, they sync to your calendar, and then only that small handful of people that are really great for your company will be left, and you just have to go to the appointments, find the best one, and hire them, all right? So super awesome the way that it works, really just making this so automatic And guys, I can't even tell you how much time this has saved me. Like, it's incredible. So if you are a small business owner, I highly recommend that you check something like this out. And if you need help on the automation end, we have an amazing, affordable platform that can help you do all of this and see it in a super visual way, all right? Now, I do want to talk to you again about if you are hiring a freelancer versus an employee, okay? So if you are hiring a freelancer, I would not recommend that you use Indeed. The reason being is because a lot of people on Indeed are looking for full-time positions. It's not necessarily a freelancer website. Whereas if you go onto Upwork, that is a freelancer website. There's a lot of different freelancer websites out there. In my personal opinion, I would stay away from Fiverr and websites like that as they tend to be lower quality. But I've had a lot of success on Upwork. So on Upwork, we're gonna do kind of a similar situation, but it's a little bit different because they don't offer the same kind of questionability that Indeed does, okay? So on Upwork, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're going to create a job posting. Now again, in this job posting, we're gonna make this super detailed because we know that we have to be selling them as well, right? So we want this to be detailed, clearly explain what we need, our company, what we're looking for, right? Also, we're gonna make use of the extra sections that Upwork provides us. So they're gonna ask us about how much we want to pay the person in this role. You can select from a fixed price if it's a singular project, or an hourly rate if it's a more long ongoing project, all right? You can make use of the skills section. So you can say, I want someone with this skill, and this skill, right? And you can make use of the experience section as well. So they ask you, do you want somebody who's more entry level or do you want somebody who's been around for a long time, right? Make sure if you're looking for somebody who's really an expert, right, you're utilizing that section so that you get more of those type of candidates. Now, within the job post itself, I also do something that I think kind of helps me to really cut down on my time. So I'll say, in your proposal, please include the following, and I'll number it, 1, 2, 3, right? So you can include things like, how much do you expect to make on this project? Or you can include things like, what type of experience do you have with X, Y, and Z? Or you can include things like, please include links to your previous work that you've done, or stuff like that. That'll really help you kind of cut it down and get kind of straight to the point, right? Now, something else that I found extremely effective is I say, in your proposal, please include, and I put in quotation marks, I can do it, or I am the one, or I'm perfect for this job, right? Because what I find specifically with these freelancer websites is that a lot of times freelancers will go on, they'll read the title of the job post, so it'll say, website developer needed, right? They'll go, oh, I'm a website developer. They'll copy their generic cover letter that they use for everybody, they'll paste it in and they'll apply. But if they actually read my description and actually saw exactly what I was looking for, then they'll see that I said, include I can do it in your proposal, and they'll include that. So having this available makes it super easy for me to cut down on the people who actually read it and are seriously interested versus the people who were just randomly applying to a job, all right? So what I do from there, once I start getting some applicants in, is I'll go through, I'll eliminate anybody who didn't say those keywords that I just said, and then I'll go through again and I'll eliminate anybody who didn't do those other prompts, like if I was looking for a price quote or previous examples or stuff like that. And at that point, I'm normally left with a pretty good handful of people. If you want to narrow it down more, they also let you shortlist people. So you can basically do a thumbs up where you create a separate list, and you could just make a list of, say, your 5 favorite people, and you could start up the conversation from there, all right? And once you start up these conversations, make sure that you have a dialogue that you're kind of sticking to, right? So what else do you need to know about them in order to trust them? Do you need to know how they're gonna do the job? Do you need to know if they have certain skills to do the job? What do you need from them? Because that's how the conversation should be swayed, right? And that's it, guys. At that point, no matter which one of these platforms you're using, you should have a pretty automated way to really go and kind of narrow down these lists and save yourself a ton of time, all right? So like I said, guys, if you are interested in our automation software, we have it available in the Finally Visible Academy. And we also sell it separately as well. So I will drop the links to that below, or you can go to funnellyvisible.com. And if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe so you can see more like it in the future. All right, thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.